You are listening to the Crazy Town Podcast, Season 1, Episode 5. Today we will be discussing the 36th and a half anniversary of a casino bombing no one remembers, shower rods being the bane of my existence, and how I think steroids should be handled in sports. All that and more today on the Crazy Town Podcast.
Onion, take 3!
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Crazy Town Podcast. Episode number 5, Cinco. We made it. Once again, my name is Jonas, and I will be your host for today's show. I wanted to touch on first, August 27th, 1980. Now, a lot of you may not have even been born then. I mean, shit, I wasn't even born then. But back then, on that date, there was a casino bombing. Back in, I don't know what fucking state this was in now that I think about it, but 600 pounds of dynamite blew a 50 by 30 crater into 5 floors of Harvey's Hotel and Casino and blew out every one of the 250 windows in the building on this date. Now, I bet this is something that none of you have ever heard of, because, frankly, I had never heard of it either. But I think the reason behind that is that no one died in this bombing. As a matter of fact, nobody was even hurt. There was a guy, his name was John Burgess, Birges, and he lost like $750,000 at this casino. I believe it was playing blackjack, something like that. So, as any rational person would do, he decided that he would just bomb the casino, because that's what people do, because when you are an asshole and lose all your money. So what he decided to do was actually pretty ingenious for being a psychopath. He put all of that dynamite inside a faux copy machine. Basically, what he had to do was figure out a way to get this copy machine into the hotel so he could ransom or blow it up or whatever. And I'm sure you're thinking, well, how the hell did he do that? Well, security wasn't as tight in 1980 as it is now in 2016. As the story read, he pulled up to the casino at 4:45 in the morning, pulled the copier out of a van, walked up to the security guard, and told him that he was copier maintenance, and it was very important that he got the fax machine copy or whatever into the offices before they opened in the morning. So not only did the security guard just let him in, he held the door open for him as he pushed the copy machine into the hotel. Now, I know nowadays this would be ridiculous, but I mean, shit, back in like the 1980, they let you smoke on airplanes and shit. Shit wasn't nearly as crazy as it is today. But I think everyone will agree that it's probably a little better, because you can't just push a bomb into a casino and have the security guard help you get it in there. So once they learned there was a bomb in there, I believe they said like an office worker or something noticed that the copy machine wasn't working, and then they investigated it and saw like the explosive or whatever. The sheriff deputies ended up clearing all of the people out of the hotel and ended up getting all their items out of the hotel. And the owner said, it was in the article even said the owner was proud that no one filed a claim saying they lost an item. Well, yeah, dude, you have a fucking giant crater in your hotel. I think that's the least of your worries, that someone lost a goddamn earring or their coat got left behind. So why would you be proud of that? I'm sure that dude's a fucking weirdo. they said that he wanted some ransom or something like that, and they flew this plane around, and I don't know. It was a really weird story that, like, he kind of gave him a wild goose chase about getting the money or whatever. And actually, he ended up getting caught because one of his sons told his, at the time, girlfriend that his dad was the one that put the bomb in the hotel. Well, then they broke up, and she was on a date with some new dude, and they heard the story about the bomb on the hotel, and they fucking narked on him and cashed it in. The dude ended up going to jail for it. So, I mean, he almost would have got away with it, but his sons basically blew his cover. I think they even testified against him in this case. So, but that is besides the point. The reason the bomb went off wasn't even that the psychopath detonated it. So, I guess the bomb squad, the FBI, whoever was taking care of the situation, they examined this thing and did x-rays of it and whatever, and after 33 hours of trying to figure out what to do with it, they decided that if they could set off the top part of the bomb on the detonator, and they'd be able to do something in it so it wouldn't go off. So they decided they would just set off the bomb. Well, what they didn't realize and didn't find out is that there was a second power supply in the bottom of the bomb, and it blew up the hotel. So essentially, the cops blew the bomb up on purpose in the hotel, setting that giant crater, blowing up all the windows. So I thought that was pretty fucking crazy, and the story was kind of old. That's why it's the 36th and a half anniversary. I guess the story was the 35th, but hey, it's a little late. I found it late. They did say that the hotel was closed for like a year, and now it's owned by Harrah's, and it's like a 740-room hotel, so they've like tripled it in size and everything. So, I mean, I guess it has a somewhat happy ending, but how often does a casino bombing basically fall by the wayside and nobody talks about it? I mean, basically it's because there was no death. Now, I mean, that's definitely great. Now, I mean, I'm not a big fan of people dying in hotel bombings or whatever, casino bombings. But if a bunch of fuckers would have died because this dude was a nutbag and set it off himself, you know that this shit would have always lived on, because there'd be a bunch of people that remember that died. Now they just remember a hotel had a hole in it. So it ended up being kind of a happy story, but I thought it was fucking awesome that the police were the ones that set the bomb off. So let me know what you think. Hit me up on the blog. Shoot me a message. Let me know what you think of this fucked up story. And I will be right back on the Crazy Town podcast. Welcome back to the Crazy Town podcast. I wanted to touch on shower rods. Now, I know a lot of you probably live in houses and have sturdy-ass shower rods, or, just have like a screwed into the wall thing. Well, I live in an apartment, and we don't have like a stand-up shower with a stall or anything like that. We have a tub, and then they put up a shower curtain in the apartment or whatever. Well, but for some reason, I mean, it's not a hood-ass place. I mean, it's actually pretty nice, but for some reason they have tension rods instead of like actual shower rods. So, which I actually am kind of cool about, because I hate those fucking things that hook the shower curtain up that go over the top of the rod. I like the circles that you like put over the end so that it can't come off regardless. So, but I mean, we all know what a tension rod is. It's one of those things that you have to like pull open, and then you have to like twist it to lock it in place. Then you have to like twist the end to like put the tighter tension on or whatever. Basically, the problem with this is these things are a piece of shit. And I think in my bathroom that some of the tiles in the tub area are just like a little bit uneven, because the shit constantly falls. It is becoming the bane of my fucking existence. So, let me tell you a little story. So I work from home a couple days a week, and since I'm like super lazy, I usually wait till the end of the day to take a shower, and I take it on the clock, of course. So I'm on the clock, I'm working, and I decide I'm going to jump in the shower real quick. And mind you, I have about 20 minutes left till I get off work. So I was just going to take a quick shower, and then, get back on the computer, finish up, and do whatever. Now, the water in my shower, for some reason, takes a really long time to get hot. But once it does, it's so hot, it'll melt your flesh into a pile of goo if you fucking forget and just jump in. I go in there, and I point it at the wall. And mind you, water's reflecting everywhere because the shower's on, so it's just like it's going nuts. It's, it's splashing all over, and everything has like a mist on it. I go back after I handle some shit, I jump in, and I'm about to start the shower. I pull the curtain closed, I turn the shower head on my body, and the second the water hits me, blam, the fucking tension rod falls. So I'm standing in the shower, wet, and now there's no curtain. The shower rod falls. So I grab it, and I try to put it up real quick, and mind you, my hands are wet. I put it up, it stays, I turn, it falls. I grab it, I put it up, it stays, it falls. This must happen literally 10 times. All I'm trying to do is take a fucking shower. So I finally am like, fuck it. I'm going to get on the outside of the shower, since I'm dripping wet all over the damn bathroom. Get on the outside of the shower, I put it up. Fall. And at this point, I'm getting fucking pissed. So, I finally, I grab, I have, a shirt laying there, so I grab it, and I, wipe off the end of the damn tension rod, I wipe off the spot where it's supposed to go, and I get it, and I put it up, fucking, it stays, I get it real tight, I'm fucking like, fuck you, shower rod. So then I get in, grab the curtain, close it, and I missed a fucking ring. So, at the very end of the shower, the curtain's just hanging, so the curtain doesn't cover the entire length of the shower. So now there's water getting out on the floor. So I have to at this point I'm just like, fuck it. I finish the shower because I'm supposed to be working anyways, and whatever. So this whole process made me just hate them even more than I already do. And so finally I got off work, I dried everything real good, I got it up real good and tight, got all the rings on, and it hasn't fallen since. This was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. So in the end, I win, Jonas wins, but at the time I wanted to take that fucking rod and throw it like a javelin, out the goddamn window. But in the big picture, it really wasn't that big a deal, but I thought I would share it with you guys because I know someone else out there has had this experience. I know that you have to. I'm not the only person that has a shower rod hate. So why don't you hit me up if you have had it over at the blog at thecrazytown.com and let me know your fucking story and we can hate together. And I will be right back with another story on the Crazy Town podcast.
Where am I?
I wanted to give my opinion on steroids in sports. Now, everyone seems to be against steroids in sports. Now, I'm not talking about, the effect that the steroids have on the players' bodies, because, that's fucked up. It's proven that it causes all sorts of issues. But the leagues themselves have, a really big problem with steroids. But I may be dating myself at this point, but back when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were battling it out to hit the all-time home run record in baseball, I think it was 1998 or whenever that was. That was the most exciting baseball ever was. People were crushing home runs, just crushing them. But everyone was on roids. It's come out. Cinco wrote a book. Everyone was doing steroids. And tons of people were hitting 50 home runs a season. There was multiple home runs every single day. Now, I get the reason the leagues frown on it. It compromises the integrity of the game. It was a clean sport. Da-da-da-da-da. But every fucking league has their black, dark secret. You know what I mean? But for the fans, that shit is awesome. My idea is maybe we should do 2 separate leagues. We should have Major League Baseball and steroids Major League Baseball. It would be great. It would be like the guys who couldn't make the real pros could get into the steroid pro league, or they could just choose to do roids because they want to be crazy strong or whatever. Or even the best part, if people in the real league get caught using performance-enhancing drugs, they're banished and they can only perform in the steroid league from that point forward. And it would be great. You could just offset it. Baseball runs forever. But, kind of opposite. Like, once the World Series happened, like, spring training was just ending for the steroid league. So, like, there would be constantly baseball or whatever your sport is. I'm not a big baseball guy, but there would constantly be one going. Then there would be, like, 2 separate record books, and one would be, like, the legit, like, I did this without roids record book. And then we could see, like, just how great these fuckers could be if they were legally allowed to do as much roid as they like wanted to do. And it would be like completely up to the person. So like it's kind of like my view on drugs. Like I think drugs are bad, but if you choose to smoke crack, if you want to smoke crack, fucking smoke crack, dude. I mean, it's your life that you're ruining. Now, you do end up kind of ruining other people's lives, but ultimately, it's your decision to smoke that rock. So it's kind of like the same deal. If you want to get poked in the butt with a fucking roid shot, fucking do it. And then you can be crazy. But I would love to compare the record books and just see, like, how quick the steroid record book broke every single record that the real league has had forever, whatever. So I wanted to touch base on a few sports because I thought it would be fucking awesome. Okay, so baseball. I already touched a little bit on baseball because they really did have like a steroid couple years or decade or whatever. But that's how awesome it was when everybody was hiding steroids. Like, if they were really able to do it, just imagine if they could like shoot up the roids legally, like the coach was fucking boosting them up in the locker room before they came out. Somebody would end up hitting like 250 home runs. Or what would end up happening is these fucking pitchers would end up throwing like 150 miles an hour and no one will be able to fucking hit their shit. So like either way, it would be interesting to see. I mean, the first time that someone got killed by a pitch because it was like going 150 miles an hour and hit him in like the spleen and it like exploded under their skin, that would be awful. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't wish death on anybody, but I want to see exciting sports, especially games like baseball, which aren't exciting. So if you get the roid in there, you get these crazy pitches. People will be like doing these pitches that could like spin in circles, and people be hitting. People try to bunt and hit home runs. It would be magnifique. So that would be baseball. Now, if you did this with basketball, you wouldn't need guys who are like 7 foot tall to play. Because even like 5'2" dudes would be able to jump and dunk from like the 3-point line. They would be so roided up that it wouldn't matter how tall or short they were. You may even have to raise up the basket to like 15 feet. So all these dudes like aren't just dunking on every play. But you know what? If they're like slamming into each other and dunking and jumping 15 feet in the air, wouldn't that be a hell of a lot cooler than watching like how it is now? I mean, I do like basketball occasionally, but I mean, the only time that matters is like the last 3 minutes of the game. And if it's not close, then why the hell are you even watching it? I mean, that's kind of what I think about basketball, but so just imagine how crazy that would be. Now the real gem of this would be football. Now, football is a pretty violent game now. I mean, there are people getting hurt all the time, but it would be absolutely ridiculous. Can you imagine if some guy like who's a fucking like Ezekiel Elliott was able to roid up? And he could just, and he would run like a 3.5 40, and he would weigh like 260 pounds. And he would be able to literally just blast through people, and like someone would like explode. Did anyone ever play like Mutant League Football for like Sega? Like where you could just like hit people and they would just blow up? That's what it would be. Someone's leg would literally get ripped off during a play. Like, the lineman would, like, fall on it, and he'd get pissed because he's all roid raged out, and he'd, like, rip the leg off, and he'd be like, what's that guy's name? I don't remember. The guy from Mortal Kombat, that he would rip your leg off, Quinn something or whatever. He would take the leg, and he would just beat it. Like, the head would pop off. The football would be amazing. You would have to have a roster of, like, 200 guys, though, because you would probably get 10 people hurt a week. So, I think football would be the one that they should try it first with, because they could just wear more padding, because if they're all roided up, it doesn't really matter if they have on 20 pounds of padding, because they're all roided up. They could just run through a wall if they really wanted to. Now, there are a couple sports that I don't think this would work very well for. One of them is hockey. The last thing you need is someone hitting the puck and they would hit the puck, it would go like 150 miles an hour, which is great for a baseball, but if a hockey puck hit a goalie going that fast, it would go through. It would break their sternum, even wearing like a chest pad. Or like if someone got mad and hit the other dude with a stick, he would probably just cut him in half. And I don't know if you need to be going that fast on a hockey rink because the glass would break, they'd be slammed into the wall. I mean, like, shit would just get crazy. So I say we take hockey off the list. But golf, I think golf could be interesting. The only problem with golf is you have to find enough land. Dudes can hit the ball like at 400 yards or whatever now. So if they were all roided up, they could probably hit the ball like 600-700 yards off the tee. But the problem is, like, even like the longest par fives are like 500 feet or whatever, 600 or yards, I mean. So that you would have to have these giant courses. You wouldn't even be able to like have them anywhere. Now the other problem with golf would be, like, I don't think anyone would be able to putt because I would imagine someone that's all roided up has no, like, gentle touch. Like, they're the kind of guy that, like, they try to, like, open up the door and they rip the goddamn door handle off or, like, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. So I can't imagine someone, like, lightly tapping a golf ball when they're all roided up to be able to, like, do anything at all. But you never know, man. They can do amazing things when they're on roids. Now, the last thing I want to touch on that I think would be great is we could have the Roid Olympics. Now, this would just be a world of its own. But I mean, hey, if you think about it, Russia's already on board. Russia already doped up their whole team in the real Olympics. So, but they were trying to hide it. See, that's my problem. You can't hide the roids because then you get a little advantage. But if you were just full-blown roiding out, imagine how far a guy could throw a shot put or a discus. He would throw a 16-pound shot put like 100 yards. People would be able to like run. They'd be running like 8-second 40-meter dashes. It would be awesome. And you would have different countries competing to see who had the best roids because it would be a roid competition and not like who actually trained harder. So like all the countries that suck at certain events may actually be good because if they took the roids and focused on one thing, they may be able to get over the hump and be able to beat everyone else who focuses all the time on that shit. Now, that's just me. I'm just kind of talking, just kind of getting it out there for you. I wanted to get this conversation started because I think steroids in sports could be an amazing thing. Now, why don't you let me know what you think, and we can kind of compare notes and we can go from there. If I get enough response, maybe I'll touch on it again in another episode. But that is about all the time that I have for today. I know it was a little out there, some weird shit going on today, but I do really appreciate you guys listening. I cannot thank you enough. I encourage your feedback. I mean, whether it's liking this on SoundCloud or you can shoot me an email at crazytownpodcast@gmail.com. We are available on Twitter. It's at The Crazy Town Pod, not podcast, just at The Crazy Town Pod. Once again, our website is thecrazytown.com, thecrazytown.com. And always you can find us on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/The Crazy Town Podcast. Thank you so much for checking this out. I appreciate all of you listening. My name is Jonas, and I am out.